Hi everybody and welcome to the programming basics video on Kotlin. This is Dheeraj, the domain head of the app development domain DSC AUCE. The topics covered in this video are variables, data types, functions and conditional statements. So let's get on through this very quick. Variables are the name of an address location just simply because you cannot refer them by their address numbers. It's very complex. So the two types of variables in Kotlin are the immutable vals, which cannot be changed over the period of the program, and the mutable vars, whose value can be changed through the period of the program. So there are five types of data types basically in Kotlin. They are numbers, characters, booleans, arrays, and strings. Um, Data types are the type of the data, which helps the compiler to ease up the process of compilation. So functions, coming to functions, functions are just a bit of code which you can use several times in your program. It actually helps in reducing code redundancy, and given to you are the same function written in both Java and Kotlin. So this actually helps us in understanding the simplicity of Kotlin. The conditional statements are statements which are used to alter the order of execution of a program. So there are four basic conditional statements in Kotlin. They are the if statement, the when statement, the while statement, and the for statement. So the first one would be the if statement. So the if statement is a simple conditional statement where the condition is checked for, and if the condition is checked and if the condition is true, then a set of statements are executed. Else, this order of execution skips to the expression just after the if block. So that's the flowchart for if statement. First, the test expression is checked for. If it's true, then the body of if statement gets executed. Then the statement just below if statement gets executed. If the test expression is false, then directly the order of execution would start at the statement just below if statement. That is the syntax for if statement. So you can use if statement as per the Kotlin. So you can use it in two ways. Either you can use it the long way, like here, you can define an if statement, then the conditions, or else you can do it all in one line. So it depends on how complex you want your program to be and how readable your program needs to be. So these are the combinations of if statements. The left one would be the if else combination, where the test expression is checked, and if it is true, the body of if statement gets executed. Else, if the test expression is false, the body of else statements get executed, and the order of execution follows on. The right one would be nested if statements. So in nested if statements, you can have one or more than one if statements inside other if statements. So this is a basic example flowchart of a nested if statement. If condition 1 is checked and if it is true, then condition 2 is checked. If condition 2 is true, then statement A gets executed. If condition 2 is false, then statement B gets executed. If uh, if condition 1 itself is false, then condition 3 is checked, and if condition 3 is true, then statement C is checked. If condition 3 is false, then statement D gets executed, and the order of execution follows. The next conditional statement we'll be talking about is the when statement. The when statement actually replaces the switch statement in most of the programming languages. Um, I think you've heard about the switch statement by now. If you hadn't, don't worry. The switch statement is a statement used to select a set of expressions or a block of code among many other choices. So suppose you want to actually alter the output depending on the value of the variable x as shown in this program. So if x is 1, you want to print the value of x is 1. If x is 2, you want to print x equal to 2. So you can use this when statement to actually ease up the code so that readability and code redundancy is reduced. This else statement over here is just like a default statement. Suppose the value of x does not match with any case over here, the statement in the x else block gets executed. So it is just like a default. Yeah, we talk about while and do while loops. So while loop is a conditional statement. It is a looping conditional statement which implies that uh, a similar or the same set of code gets executed on and on unless the test expression is false. So coming to the flowchart of while loop, the test expression is checked. If it is true, the value, the while loop body is executed, and the order of execution again goes back to the test expression checking. If it goes on until the test expression is false, and finally it exits out of the loop. In the do while loop, first the do while loop is started, then the body of the loop is executed, then the test expression is checked. So if the test expression is true here, it will go back to the body of the loop, else it will exit. So the main difference between while and do while loop is this is an entry control loop. While loop is an entry control loop, which means the condition is checked and then the set of statements follow. But the do while loop is an exit control loop, which means the statements are executed, then the test expression is checked. The following is the syntax for while and do while loops. The upper half of this would be the syntax of while loop, in which you define the while keyword and then you define your condition and your set of statements in the block. The second one would be the do while loop, where you give the word do and the block of statements which need to be executed if the condition is met. Then at the end of the do block, you need to specify the while keyword as well as the condition which needs to be checked at the exit. Then comes the for loop. This for loop is also a looping control statement. So the flowchart follows like this. You have to enter the loop, then the test expression is checked. If it is true, then the code is checked for any break statements. So if there is any break statement, the control is transferred to the statement just after the for block. Else the remaining body of the loop is executed, and if the test expression is false, then the loop is executed immediately. If there's any break statement, then the loop is executed just after the break statement. So these are the different applications of for. You can use for actually in pretty much many ways. So the first one would be like using it in a range of numbers. By putting two dots in between numbers, you could actually get the span of the whole range in between them. Suppose you define a for loop like this: for I in 1 dot dot 3. It actually symbolizes that you're searching you are looping through a range of variables from 1 to 3, which is 1, 2, and 3. But you can actually give it for any range, and it actually this loop tells the compiler to print the value of I every time the loop test expression gets checked for and is true. So the second kind of for loop here is for I in 6 down to 0 step 2, which is the value of I is equal to 6 in the starting. So every time this statement gets executed, the value of I steps down to 2 because this keyword down to is mentioned and the step value is 2. So the output would be 6 for the first time, and then the condition is checked. Now the value of I is 4. So 4, and since the value 0 is given here, it executes this loop until the value 0 is reached. So 4 gets printed, then the value of I becomes 2, then 2 gets printed, and so on. So the third kind of for loop you could use actually is to ease up the array implementations. Suppose you want to print all the array elements, and it's actually hard when you have like 100 or 1,000 elements in an array. So you could actually use for loop to actually loop through arrays and print every value of array. So simple, right? So these are the conditional statements, and there are a few more videos coming up which would actually help you through the user interface and text view, image view, and button view. And also another special video is coming up as a tutorial for the tracks. So go on with them. Thank you.